All right, then we'll go ahead and get started. We'll call to order the regular meeting, the Lake Lure Town Council, April 11th, 2020 at 5 p.m. We are attending this meeting by Zoom. We'll begin with reviewing the agenda. Are there any edits or changes to or omissions to the agenda?
I'll make a motion, we accept the agenda.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Then the agenda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then the agenda stands approved as written. And we will, I think Shannon had mentioned that he's going to pass on the town manager communications. Is that still true, Shannon?
I think, Madam Mayor, the only thing I would mention would be the hydroelectric plant. I sent information to you today regarding the small generator. And so Dean Lindsay has just a little bit more of testing to do before we can officially declare it's online and producing power permanently, but we're just days away. So it's almost reason to celebrate.
Well, that's wonderful news. That is truly wonderful news. And we certainly are thankful to the Navy, both to Dean and to
That's right.
David for their commandeering that small generator.
That's right.
I think we'll move on then to the council liaison reports. We'll start with David.
So the UAB, Madam Mayor, did not meet this month. However, I'd like to mention on the 19th, we're going to get together with a joint session, Town Council and the UAB. Purpose of that session will be to put out the preliminary engineering report from Labella. So that's a real important meeting that we have coming up. And I would say that one of the things that we should talk about with the UAB is that we're looking at this point, not really for technical backup, because Labella has got that down pat. And actually the UAB has been a little bit behind on the technical aspect. But what we need the UAB to take a look at is policy. So with the system that Labella proposes, we want the UAB to with a critical eye, take a look at that to figure out what kind of public policy we need to set within the town in order to execute that particular kind of engineering design. So if everyone is in agreement with that, I'll kind of put that out there as a preliminary, just so the UAB is focusing on the right things.
Okay.
Rather than the technical side, yeah.
Perfect. And I believe that meeting is at 2 o'clock on the 19th, and I assume we'll be holding that meeting on Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner Kilby, do you have anything from any of your committees?
Come back to me if you will, please. I'm trying to pull them up here on my tablet.
All right, we'll move on to Commissioner Moore.
Okay, there was no zoning and planning meeting this month, so I don't have a report.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Bryant, do you have a report from one of your advisory boards?
Yes, Parks and Rec is the only board that met this past month. We had some updates. As you know, Dana Bradley is now full force in her position with the town of Lake Lure and is making great strides very quickly with her expertise and her background. So excited to have her input on that board. We had some brief discussion about the Boys Camp Road campground location. We are waiting more information from the design firm on that before we'll kind of take some look at that. So trail counts are up across the board. We are more than double trail counts from the same month last year for all of our parks and all of our trails across the board. So you can definitely see a huge uptick for the tourism sector just based on those trail counts. So there's some preliminary talk about ways to monetize some of our public trail systems and how that might work. We're soliciting feedback from our town attorney, from our finance director, to see if there might be some ways for public donations on that. And we'll be coming forward with more of that in the near future. So that's all I've got.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Commissioner Kilby, are you ready now?
I'm ready. I found them. I got them up here. So board met on August the 3rd. I guess the majority of meeting was spent on the task that the LAB was given to come up with $165,000 to make the lakes self-sustaining. They spent a lot of time on that. They're still working on that. The next Lake Advisory Board meeting is supposed to be, would normally be on the day that Labor Day falls on Monday. I think it's the 7th or whatever that day is. So they're actually moving the meeting until the Monday before, the 31st. And they hope to be able to finalize that so they're able to get that to us, the Marine Commission and the council for our final consideration. Putting a lot of thought into it, a lot of discussion. They're working hard to do that. So I think they're looking at all the angles, all the different ways, trying to be fair, looking for where the least amount of impact possibly can be. So they're working on that. We had an update from Chief Humphreys was there. They're doing extra lake patrols and everything, and really working on beefing that up to make it a safer place for us to be, for boating and for all the visitors that we're having. And there's a lot of them. My favorite thing to say now is every day's like the 4th of July. So Dean was actually on vacation. Dana Bradley was there, and she did an excellent job there. So I think that is all that I have from that. I will tell you that meeting on the 31st, I know Commissioner DiOrio was at the meeting we had last week. It might be a meeting you want to attend because it's a pretty big step. I just throw that out there. There's a lot of discussion and things to come about, and so it might be good if you're free that afternoon to come at 3:30 and listen to the conversation and all the discussions. So that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. I think that's all then for our council liaison reports. We will not be able to have public comment on this venue because obviously we don't have anyone in person. So we will move on to our consent agenda. Having had an opportunity to review it, is this acceptable? Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda as written?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as written.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the consent agenda is approved as written. We'll then move on to unfinished business, but we have no unfinished business on this agenda. So that leads us into our new business, and our first point of order is our LAB member appointment. I think we will go to Commissioner Kilby for that.
Okay, everyone received in their packet the applicants that we have for the open position. As you know, that position was held by Bill Ashman, and Bill and his wife have sold their house and they're going to be moving. So Bill was kind of unique in the fact that Bill was able to have representation of both being a resident of Rumbling Ball. His property was part of Rumbling Ball, so he was a resident of Rumbling Ball and been involved with Rumbling Ball for years. So he was able to be a representative from there. Bill also was a representative because he was on the chamber board. And as we all know, he's been a great addition to our community, member of our community for years, involved in lots of different things. So that being said, we have the 4 applicants, and I'm sure all of you have read and reviewed the applications as I have. And it would be my recommendation that we look at the application for Ken, is it Gollinger? That is the person that I would recommend to you that we fill the position of Bill Ashman. My primary reason for that, besides his qualifications, if you read through the qualifications, everybody, Ken is quite qualified, and looking to see, I thought I printed off his piece of, look right here through my notes a second. Anyways, he's lives in Roman Bald. He's involved in Roman Bald. He's on some of the committees in Roman Bald. I actually did get a phone call from the president of the POA asking that we as a council consider that they're represented on the LAB. And so all the other candidates are certainly qualified, but I think with the qualifications that Ken has, he's also involved in the trails and the coalition and involved from that aspect too. And so I think that would be my recommendation, that we vote and elect Ken as to fill the position of Bill Ashman on the Board of Adjustments. I mean, on the Elected Advisory Board.
Careful what you put him on. Is there any other discussion on that? Do I hear from anyone else, or do I hear a motion that we accept that recommendation from the board?
One thing, Madam Mayor, I would add in, and I agree with Commissioner Kilby. I think all the candidates were excellent. If you take a look at the existing folks on the LAB, the remaining folks, most of them are associated with commercial enterprises, which needs to be represented on the LAB. You know, whether it's the fishing guide, Lake Lure Adventures, or whatever. So the commercial side of the LAB is covered greatly. And so I would suggest that we move to someone who is just a resident, who just enjoys the lake, and has that Rumbling Bald connection. So that's kind of what I looked for. So I too would recommend Ken Goliger for that position, because he fits that bill. Not that, but I want to make sure everyone understands, everyone was qualified there, but we don't want to have the entire LAB filled with those folks that are directly linked to commercial enterprises, including the Chamber of Commerce, which has the business interest. I think that it's fair that we have just someone who's a resident, just enjoys the lake for recreation, to serve on the board. So that's my input.
Thank you, Commissioner Diarra. Would anyone else like to add their observations?
I will, Madam Mayor. You know, in looking at his rationale and qualifications, his work with Conserving Carolinas and ROC could be beneficial in partnership with Parks and Recreation too, from a residential perspective. Looking at both lake and our land-based assets, I think it could be a good partnership there.
Thank you, Commissioner Bryant. Anyone else have any other discussion or observations, or do I hear someone who would like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion, Madam Mayor, that we elect Ken Goliger as the new member to the Lake Advisory Board.
I would second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then the board recommendation to appoint Kenneth Gallagher to the LAB is unanimously approved. Thank you so much. We'll all move to our second order of business, the adoption of the dam bridge position paper. Is there anyone, I know everyone's had an opportunity to review this. Is there anyone who wants to offer any observations or discussion?
If I may, Madam Mayor, I'd just like to add that this is the same position paper that we sent to DOT that we discussed with them at our last meeting regarding the bridge, the dam bridge. And the only portion that was amended is basically the last couple of sentences in the opening paragraph that basically references an attachment. And there was another small change that basically we are petitioning NCDOT to maintain the dam bridge, and technically that really is a separate issue from them building a second bridge. So as long as that bridge is on the dam, we would expect NCDOT to maintain that bridge. Attachment A basically depicts 3 possible connection points.
Yeah, it's good.
If you want to take a look at that, but what it doesn't do, it doesn't show particular routes over particular properties. We probably should rather leave that to NCDOT to find the best way over properties to make those connection points.
Good points.
Yes.
Is there anyone else Is there anyone else who'd like to make any observations or any more discussion?
I would just add in there that I've had the opportunity to talk with about 10 or so folks that live on this side of the dam about such a proposal, just to get their view. And unanimously, Madam Mayor, everyone's in agreement that such a bypass is really what it is. It's more of a bypass than it is a new bridge, is preferred to some of those other alternatives. So I'm getting a sense that the temperature reading from the local folks here on this side of the lake is very positive to such an endeavor. So I endorse it.
Perfect. That's going to mean a lot as we move forward. Do I hear a motion then to adopt the dam bridge position paper?
Madam Mayor, I'll make the motion. We adopt the position paper.
Second?
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then we unanimously adopt the dam bridge position paper. At this time, we will move into closed session. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we proceed into closed session in accordance with GS 143-318-11A3 for attorney-client privilege or legal claims.
And that we also include Mitchell.
Right, and Mitchell Anderson will be included in that closed session. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we'll move into closed session. Open session, if there is no more business, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. Adjourn.
John Moore, that's all you. Yes, John Moore first. I'll second.
All right.
All right, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Then we stand
Yes.
adjourned.